Hello and welcome again to Conjuring over Coffee. I want to reiterate that these videos are not going to be professional videos. I'm not an actress. I try not to read by script, but today I do have some notes in front of me due to the last couple videos I made were completely full of ums and ers and the stuff that you kind of don't want to fill up your videos. So again, in case you missed the last time, I'm going to be trying to, there's the first one, we're going to stop at that. I'm going to be trying to put out information on my page. It's not to gain followers or become a creator or influencer or anything like that. I feel like Instagram is a great place for us working witches to gather information and learn from each other, which is what I'm going to try to do. I'm not an advanced witch by any means. I do practice daily, so I guess you would call me a working witch. Anyway, again, favorite coffee cup. You'll have to excuse my voice. I have been sick the past couple weeks. I'm really not sure what's going on. I'm losing my voice and I'm just super tired. It's not COVID. I've already been tested for work. Anywho, so today I want to touch on the topic of casting a circle. In the beginning, when I first started practicing, I did not realize how important circle casting was. I kind of just dismissed it, didn't put up that energy barrier when I was starting to cast, and I did start to notice almost 99% of the time I was completely drained afterwards. I mean, days of tired. It wasn't just, oh, I'm sleepy, I need to take a nap. It was literally drained. I was overly exhausted. So I'm gonna kind of dive into circle casting today. Now, I did say that I don't go by script, but I did take some notes today that I'm gonna kind of read from just so that I'm not umming and erring through the whole thing. So circle casting. What is it and why do we do it? Why do we need to do it? That's the question. So I'm just going to read the general excerpt from the informational page that I drew some of this information from, just because, again, I didn't want a bunch of ums in here. So I went ahead and just pulled a little bit of information from some very good resources that I tend to follow online. So I'm just going to go ahead and read through the first couple paragraphs, and then I will go on to my notes and why I cast a circle and explain why it's so important that we do this. So here we go. Circle casting. It is always best before any magical work is performed to cast a circle. There are two main reasons for doing this. Firstly, the circle offers protection from negative energy and entitles which, without the circle, would be able to enter the sacred space and cause havoc in both our spell work and within our own energy field. And yes, it does. Havoc has been wreaked on my sleeping pattern due to not casting before I go into ritual work or spell work. Secondly, the circle acts as a cone of power. Once cast, there will be a boundary of energy around your circle. This doesn't go straight up, it forms a cone shape, with the top point being in the very center of your circle. As we chant, cast spells, sing, dance, or even talk inside our circle, it raises energy. Without a properly cast circle, this energy cannot build and it will simply disperse, making your spell work much less effective and draining your energy. I cannot reiterate that enough. Draining, draining, draining. It takes every bit, sorry about that. It takes every bit of my energy out of me. I'm talking 100%. So, what is circle casting? We just went through a little bit of it in those two paragraphs, but I'm going to say I look at circle casting as being my own little bubble of protection against whatever energies might want to drain my power, my ritual work, my spell work, whatever. Whether it be good energies or bad energies, sometimes when we disperse all of our good energies, it makes us less effective. And again, it makes us sleep for days. I'm sure some of you have also ran into this, you know, oh my gosh, I just did some spell work and now I've got to go take a nap. But in our next session, I'm going to go through grounding, which is another very, very important step to make sure that you are bringing back down your energy level so that you're not dispersing all this energy all day long. But that'll be the next video. Again, sorry, my voice is going. So, why do we cast a circle? I'm not going to go very far with the but we have a lot of distractions, and as we are trying to focus our energy and you know, that's what witchcraft really is manipulating and working with the energies. So we cast this circle so that the energies that we're working with can be bound. They'll have a perimeter. And there's many ways to cast a circle. You can do it out loud. You can have a chant. You can have a little prayer that you say. You can do it mentally. You don't have to speak out loud your intentions. The energy in the universe knows what's going on in here. And if you focus what's going on in here, that's where you're going to get the best circle casting. That focus is where the circle casting goes. I'm going to switch pages here. I have a lot of notes. I have like 7 pages of notes, and I'm going to try to kind of just not read verbatim what I wrote down and kind of just kind of touch on each subject as far as circle casting goes. So, in a summarization, what we're gaining out of casting a circle is to keep disturbances out and to keep the energy in our ritual in our circle. So we'll do it worse and say the circle is a tool to make your magic stronger. We're going to say that that's one of our tools. I touched on this on the last video as well. Witches do not need tools. Your hands, your heart, your mind, those are your tools, and your intention. That's what's most important, is your intention. So you don't need some fancy wand or athame or anything like that. I'll show you what I use, and this just because, let me just show you. I hold this in my prominent hand when I cast a circle. It's a bit heavy, so I try to get through my my circle casting ritual fairly quickly because it is so heavy. This is a ball, a crystal ball with the solar system, our every planet, our sun, our moon, etc. And I feel like when I put my energy into this, I'm pulling energy from everything, from our whole universe. And that's where my intention goes, is to pull energy from our whole universe into my circle so that I have an abundance of energy. Our universe holds a lot of energy. So we'll put that back up here and sip of coffee, because what would it be without coffee if we're conjuring over coffee? All right. There's a couple ways to cast a circle that you'll find on the internet. I'll go ahead and go through those, and then I'll touch a little bit more on how I personally do it. I don't like to put a lot of my personalized rituals out there because they are mine. They are personal. A lot of witches don't like to share their book of shadows and things like that. I really don't mind sharing some things out of my book of shadows. It's I'm not traditional in that way, but there are some things that I like to kind of keep private because they are my own. So, traditional circle has 4 cardinal points. Your north, south, east, and west. Those are our points that we try to put into our circle circumference here. Linked to the 4 directions and the 4 elements. Earth, air, fire, water. I'm sure we all know that if you've been practicing for just even a little pinch of time. You all know your cardinal directions. You all know your elements. All right. Visualizing the boundaries in a circle is one way that you can do it. Again, with your mind. Walking the circumference of a circle, which means just walking as big as you want your circle to be, with that intention in your mind and that intention focused. Cutting a barrier with a knife or a sword. Calling the quarters, which is, that's a Wiccan tradition. I'm not Wiccan. I am taking some classes at my local metaphysical shop just because I wanted to learn a little bit more about the Wiccan tradition and how it affects my craft and how it might, I don't know, influence my craft a little bit. So lighting candles is another great way to make your boundary of your circles. Again, and your 4 points, your 4 cardinal directions. You can just have the 4 candles, or if you so choose, you can light it up a little bit and have circles of candles around you, creating the boundaries of your circle. The next would be ritual cleansing of the space inside. Once you cast that circle, it is oh so important to try to cleanse out whatever energies on the inside that you don't want. Whatever energies you're not trying to work with in that particular ritual or spell work, you absolutely want to clear those energies out. You don't want those seeping through into whatever your intention may be on whatever ritual or spell work you are doing. So I'll give you an example of a simple circle casting technique. Visualize a ring of light at the edges of your ritual space. The light burns and purifies your space that you have encompassed. Take some deep breaths and focus on the pulse of energy within your body. Basically, focus on your heartbeat. That's your body pulsing. That's your energy pulsing through your body and pulsing out of your body. You try to feel the heat and the light of your own energy. If you are focused enough, you will absolutely feel this. And it's a beautiful feeling. It is tingling and it's energy. It's a light feeling. And I'm sure some of you have already experienced this, so you know what I'm talking about. I lost my spot on where I was going here. Okay. Oh, here we go. Okay. So when you feel the warm edges of your energy reach that boundary circle, clap your hands together and say, "As I will, the circle is cast." It is always a will. You don't ever put in any kind of language that could leave possibility open. It's always, I am, I will. Period. That's it. As I will, the circle is cast. Not will be cast, is cast. Okay. So we're going to move on. Again, I've got 7 pages of notes here that I took. I'm not going to read verbatim every one. I'm just going to kind of touch on each little thing that I put into my notes, and hopefully I'll get a little bit better at this, and my videos will go a little bit more smoothly. Right now I feel like they're just all over the place and a mess. So there are some various tools that a lot of witches prefer to use. I, again, at first did not use any tools. I used my mind. I did use my hands. As you can see through these videos, I talk a lot with my hands. So I did. So a couple things would be an athame, which if you're not familiar with what an athame is, it's a ritual knife. It can be used for several things. Sometimes we tend to put these on our altar. Other times we, again, use them for circle casting. I do not have my athame handy, so I'm not going to show you that, and I apologize. I think I have literally a bedroom that I share with my husband, and one little corner of it is my working space. And that's all I got. It's big enough for me, but it's too cramped for me to keep every single thing I have out all over the place. So stones, another thing that you can use to cast your circle as a tool. You can put the stones in either direction, again, or you can line your circle with them with the intent set into your stones to cast it. Stones are crystals. And again, candles. Candles are a great tool. They're cheap. I will do a video on how to be a thrifty witch, and I will say that 85% of the things that I acquire for my craft, thrift stores, and I love thrift stores. I can get out of there super cheap with everything that I need. Sip of coffee and we'll move on. So, there's no method that is better than the next. It's just what you choose to do, your preferred method, what makes you more comfortable, what is appropriate for you, whether you are a solitary practitioner or you have a coven. It's just going to be whatever is more comfortable for you and what flows a little bit better for you. Moving on. Is it necessary? No, it's not necessary. Not by any means. How you choose to perform your ritualized magic and your spell work is up to you. There's no set in stone path unless you are a part of an organized religion such as Wicca. If you are a solitary eclectic like I am, there's no set in stone. You can change up and move and switch things up as much as you'd like to make you feel comfortable in your spell work. The circle is not used in every tradition. The ones that I found that the circle is not used as far as tradition are the Norse tradition, the Kemetic, which is the Egyptian. A lot of shamanic or folk magic practitioners do not use circle magic. It's useful, but it's not necessary. A little excerpt that I found as far as the history and circle casting, and I will read this one verbatim because it's not my words, it's the words of a website that I use. Again, pardon me. The witch's magic circle is a legacy from the grimoires of Western ceremonial magic, what is sometimes called Solomonic magic. Its original purpose was to protect the conjurer from demons and fallen angels, and to assert the authority of God over such rebellious spirits. This commanding adversarial approach to magic is now out of step with many magicians and how they view their relationship with the spiritual world. So it did start out as a way to keep demons out. If you're on that path, which goes back to the days of Solomon and, how his magic was and how his path that he took. I have something in my teeth, I'm sorry. Okay, moving on. Can a circle cast itself? Well, the concept of the aura or energetic field around the body has attraction with so many spiritual paths. It's not just us witches that see auras and see the light energy emanating from the body. So many traditions see that. And it's possible for every human being on this planet to see that, if in fact we open our mind's eye and we use that. A lot of us, pardon me, it took a very long time for us to be able to open our mind's eye. For me, it took years of doing horrible things to my body. As far as drugs and alcohol were concerned, I was trying to numb a lot of things, instead of embracing them, learning from them, and moving on with my craft. It took about 20 years of drugs and alcohol to get me to the point where I had lost all contact with many energies and a lot of spirituality on my path. These past 2 years of complete sobriety have taken me to and beyond a level I could ever imagine. I digress. So we'll move on. If you think that the magic circle as an extension of the aura, circle casting becomes a lot less Wicca specific. If we keep in our mind's eye that it is just an extension of us, an extension of our energy, encapsulating a bubble around us. then you're not necessarily following the Wiccan tradition. I know a lot of witches out there have this love-hate relationship with the Wiccan tradition. To each their own. Some of you love it, some of you hate it, some of you are impartial, and that's okay. We'll touch on that another day. Moving on. Let's see. I don't want to make this video too long. A, because I just woke up, and B, because I have a lot of stuff to do before I go to work. How large should a circle be? In tradition, a 9-foot circle is what's commanded through the Wiccan tradition. Just a suggestion. Your circle can be however big is comfortable for you. It can literally just be a bubble attached to your body. It can be elbow length. It can be arm's length. It can be whatever size is okay for you to practice and what's comfortable for you. How small is too small? The circle should be large enough to completely encapsulate the witch and our ritual items. So again, taking some of this from some sites that I do carry, I'm going to reiterate, you don't have to have tools. And I'm sorry with the ums. Again, it's just something that I do to fill space, and I apologize. I'll get better at it. Suggestion is always the 9-foot circumference circle. If you're working in a bedroom or a small space, it's obviously not going to be, you're not going to be able to cast a 9-foot circle. It's just, especially like I said, in my practicing area, and I'll give you guys a tour one day. It's very small. I've literally got a bookshelf for my books, a mini altar set up on that where I do some spell work. My desk where all my herbs and my stones, my mortar and pestle, and just a little area where I keep my book of shadows and my spell work. And then you can't see over this area is another little altar that I have set up to my deity with shelves underneath that I keep more stuff. I'm cramped-packed. I don't have enough room. So my circle is usually very small. And when I work outside, I just do it the length of my arms just to encapsulate myself. I don't usually, when I go outside to do spell work, I don't usually take a bunch of tools or items. It's basically just me drawing up the energy from the earth and using it that way, which again, that's another video. I've just started delving very deeply into pulling up. Instead of drawing down, a lot of witches draw down from the moon. I like to draw up from the earth now. It's an amazing feeling, and once we get to that video and you start doing it, it's literally like, it's exciting. I can't even go into that right now. So again, where were we? Okay, so your circle, it's suggested that it includes your altar, if there is one, and your ritual tools and nothing else. Again, not for me. My circle encompasses me. That's it. I don't take my whole altar outside. I do sometimes take my cauldron and some of my coals and incense just to give offering to the earth. That way she is a little bit more apt to give me her energy if I'm offering something back. All these topics that I'm touching on right now, I'll have videos for those in the future, but I need to get back to the circle casting because I keep getting off topic. So there's really no limit to the size of your circle. Smaller is often better. That way you're not trying so hard to fill up an enormous space with energy. And you're not dispersing your energy to the point where it just wipes you out, because it will. And again, that's why I will touch on grounding at another time. I used to not ground myself before or after ritual or spell work, and it again just pulled excess energy off of me that I can't afford to lose. I'm already tired. I work a full-time job, take care of a family, so I'm already exhausted as it is. So we'll get back. Now that the circle is covered, the size is covered, shape. A lot of people visualize a ring of energy around themselves, which is kind of what I do. Not so much a ring, but a bubble of my light energy around me. Some people envision a tube, a being in a tube, or a stack of circles, should I say. Some people visualize a sphere, excuse me, extending into the ground and up overhead, and some go with the cone. It's all fine. It's all good. Any one of those, again, your path is your path. You make it how you want. Nobody's here to tell you how you should work your magic. Moving on. Circles are made of energy. Again, I cannot reiterate that. The circle is nothing tangible. It is your energy. It's what you visualize. So if you're not visualizing what you need out of your circle, you're probably not going to get what you intend to get out of it. There are different energetic functions to each of the shapes. And as you grow more experienced, you will be able to touch on those and recognize each of the shapes and what they can do for you. Don't worry about people who say that the simple two-dimensional circle it's inferior to any other circle, or it's dangerous or ineffective. It's not. It's all about your intention, your energy that you put into this. Again, I cannot stress that enough. Oh, my coffee's getting cold. So we'll touch on what does being in a circle feel like. I hate to put it this way, especially for the younger witches that might be watching this, and I feel like I probably should have censored this, but I'm not going to. I'm going to put it out there because your solid circle, it's a bit like having an orgasm. That's the feeling you should have. That should be what you get out of it. What that heightened, I'm not going to fake an orgasm on this video, okay? But adults, you know what I'm talking about. You know the feeling of the energy being so heightened that it cannot be heightened enough. People will experience different sensations as far as standing within the ritual circle. Heightened sensations of energy and a distorted sense of time are sometimes common. Almost like a time lapse or slow motion, perhaps. Words, images, objects within your circle, they might take on special significance. One word may heighten that energy field. One word that's special to you. One object that's special to you. If you retain that inside your circle, or if you retain those words inside your circle, that may be what gives your mind and your energy the boost that it needs to feel what you're supposed to feel in this circle. Excuse me. It can feel strange. It can give off heat. It can give off resistance. It can give off an energetic, like a staticky feeling almost when you approach it. If you've done it right, you know what your circle feels like. You're gonna feel a difference. Absolutely. If you do not happen to feel, again, pardon me, if you do not happen to feel any of those sensations when you've cast your circle, it doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It just means that you need to keep practicing. You need to keep practicing on how can I word this? On how to emanate your energy within. Energy, it has a vibration. Everything on this earth has a vibration. A tree, the water, the ground, the wind. It all has a vibration. It all has an energy. So energy has a vibration, and it's almost a vibrating feeling inside of your circle. At least that's where I get out of my circle. It's normal for objects beyond the boundary to appear out of focus. If you've done it correctly and you do have that, it's almost like seeing underwater is how I could describe it. It's almost like opening your eyes underwater and things just seem out of focus or a little bit blurry. That's how I can tell that I have cast my circle with the full intent that I need to. If I'm trying to look outside of my circle and things are a bit hazy or blurry, I know I've done it right. So just a couple things about standing inside your circle. It's almost like having a lucid dream. It feels real and not real at the same time. And if you've ever had a lucid dream, again, another topic I'll touch on in the future, you know what I'm talking about. It's almost like being wrapped in a blanket. You get that heat and that energetic, just that energetic feeling that, okay, an example. If you've ever been to a museum, you put your hand on that ball with all the energy and electricity running through it, and you get that feeling on your hands. That's almost what your circle should feel like. Just that energy, it's so hard to describe, because everybody has their own experiences within their circle. So I'm going to quit blabbering on about my experience and just go into other possibilities, because I could go on for years. It could also, where did I see what I wanted to touch on? Oh, about how you might feel as far as your feet on the ground. I've had circles that I have cast that I have absolutely felt like my feet have been immersed into the earth. Like I am a part of the earth, from like almost like my feet have roots in them, and that my roots are dug deep into the ground. That actually is my best experience in a circle that I've ever had, is just feeling one with the earth, feeling like my feet and my legs have roots so deep that they're down to the core of this earth. It's the best feeling in the world. I hope you get it during your circle casting, because it's almost addictive. I love it. So it could also almost be like looking at a foreign scenery that you've never seen before, because you have all that energy emanating, running around. It could look like an alien planet, or, just a landscape that you've never seen before, which is actually pretty cool too. Taking down a circle. I like to go over that because a lot of people don't take. Oh, and actually my teacher at my local metaphysical shop told us that sometimes there are people witches that she's come in contact with, that actually will create a door in their circle. And they do this so that, again, a lot of us witches, this is not our full-time job. We have kids screaming for us. We have husbands. We have dogs. We have this. We have that going on. We have everything going on around us. And sometimes we just cannot sit still for, a couple hours at a time inside of our circle. So she told us that, and this is super cool, I've never thought about this, that she has had people, other witches that she was working with, she is a Wiccan, so she does have a coven, her coven mates, when they have casted circles, they have cut out a door or an opening so that they may go in and out of the circle without drawing it down or without breaking it. Opening the door to go out, shutting it behind them, opening it to come back in, shutting it behind them. That's super cool. I've never tried that. Maybe we'll try it. I'm not real sure. So once your ritual or spell work has ended and the circle needs to be taken down, opening the circle is what some other witches call it. Others call it closing the circle. It's up to you. Whatever phrase you'd like to use, they both mean the same thing. The language is a little bit confusing. It's just completely up to you and how you'd like to word. Releasing the circle allows the contained energies to dissipate, and the room or a patch of ground to return to its pre-ritual state. No more fuzzy, no more like you're underwater, no more energy radiating. It's basically letting that energy go. so that you don't have it built up around you. Which, again, not closing your circle and having constant energy radiating around you can also be draining. It can be very draining. So there are a couple techniques that can be used to disperse. Ringing a bell is a good way. There are chants that you can use, words in your mind or out loud, whatever you choose. Visualizing the circle walls dissolving is another good way. Gathering your tools and putting them away also helps to scatter your energy, which, again, if you're not using tools, don't worry about that one. The feeling of taking down a circle, it can vary, just depending on how you do it and how long you've been in the circle, how much energy is radiating. It could be from a slow fade or a dramatic rush when that circle collapses back into the ether. I mean, it can just, it's almost like you're in slow motion, but all of a sudden you speed back up into reality, is how I like to try to put it. Let's see. Other things I can kind of touch on as far as closing out a circle. You can uncast by blowing out the candles if that's how you choose to make your barrier of your circle. If you've lined it with your candles, each individual one, I don't recommend blowing them out. I recommend snuffing. You have a little, candle snuffer. You go out and snuff each individual one. If you walk in the circumference of the circle counterclockwise and maybe recite some sort of chant or some sort of thought, it's a good way. Ideally, the person or persons who cast the circle should be in charge of taking it down. You don't want to cast your circle and then, send it over to Joe Schmo to take down. It's your energy. It's what you've drawn up. And I feel, in my opinion, that's the best way. The person that creates the circle needs to be the person taking down the circle. Just my opinion. Again, your path, you do whatever. If you fail to properly shut down a circle, what could happen? It'll eventually fade away on its own. Usually within minutes, sometimes hours. Ley lines, water features, and heavy foot traffic are some things that can cause a circle to fade away. Using a pendulum or dowsing rod can help you detect the presence of lingering energy in a ritual space. So if you feel like you have not closed that circle down completely and you want to try to find out or, try to get a good bearing on how much energy might be left, dowsing rods, again, are a great way. Pendulum. If you are a pendulum divinator, use your pendulum. That'll tell you everything. And you speak to your own pendulum. You know what your tool has to say. So, moving forward. I'm trying to just kind of hurry up because I'm already at like 40 minutes. I don't want to keep, babbling over this. Oh, again, I do want to touch, if you do happen to leave your circle open, be aware that you've left an energy portal open. Entities can travel. Even unwanted entities have energy, and they can travel back and forth through this energy mass. Even if you have created that for protection, once you leave, your intent has also left, which weakens the intention of the circle. You don't want any assholes coming through your circle or be the cause of an asshole coming through your circle. So close that circle down, people. Again, next session, I'm going to cover grounding. Grounding is a very important part of our craft. I'll just say this before we leave. The difference in the way that I feel after ritual or spell work, Now that I am in the practice of grounding and the way I felt before grounding, 180. I'm telling you, it's a huge difference. I'm not wiped out for days on end. I'm not groggy. I'm not moody. I can't really say that. I'm kind of groggy and moody. That's, just, I'm tired all the time anyway. That's just from working too much and taking care of a family. But grounding is something that I did not practice for a long time. It's very important. I had other witches telling me how important it was, and you need to ground, and it's the best thing that'll ever happen, and that's why you're tired, that's why your spell works, and your ritual is wiping you out. I didn't believe a word that they were saying until I started grounding. It makes a hell of a difference, I'll say that. You will still be a little bit wiped out from dispersing a lot of your energy, but you're not going to be as wiped out. And I don't want to go too much into this topic just because, again, I'm going to do a whole video on grounding. So I'm just going to stop there. So again, circle casting is super important. I will probably go ahead and leave some of these notes on my Instagram page so that anybody that needs, and I'm sorry, I'm trying to multitask here. Anybody that needs to kind of maybe, write them down or, blah, 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 whatever. I don't feel like my words are that important. Again, I'm just spreading information so that, we can all kind of go back and forth on our experiences and trade information as far as a witch community is concerned. Again, I'm not in a coven. I'm a solitary practitioner, so sometimes I do turn to social media to get ideas or to bounce my ideas off of other people. Just whatever we can do to make our craft a little bit stronger and a little bit more solid, I guess is the word for it, is always what I'm on the lookout for. So I'll leave these notes on my page as well. I'm going to try to do a video a week. It's getting harder because I am back to work full time, so I can't promise. And I know a lot of people that put videos out on their pages, pre-record, and just, load them once a week. I'm not that organized. It's never going to happen. I'm kind of like, I woke up this morning, I have the house to myself. What a better time. It doesn't always happen that way. Normally, I've got, a kid and a husband here, my dog wanting all of my attention, and then it's time to get ready and go to work. So I don't have much time to myself. So when I do have time to myself, I'm going to try to put these videos together. So on an ending note, conjuring over coffee. Once a week, I'm going to try to put it out. Next week is going to be grounding. And we'll go over that, and I will try to make some better notes where I'm not looking down at my pages so much, where I can actually focus and interact. So maybe one day I might get to live videos. Who knows? I don't know. I'm not that confident in my videos yet. But all right. So again, goodbye. Favorite coffee cup. I'm going to finish it up. Going to go get a refresher here to warm this bad boy up, and we will see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.